So this is something else. Donald Trump said he meant business. Donald Trump wasn't kidding when he said he was going to round up all the criminals and send them to GITMO. He really wasn't kidding. And today, in his speech celebrating the Laken Riley Act, talking about the importance of this act, guess what he said? It's on. Guantanamo Bay is on. Watch this clip.
Today, I'm also signing an executive order to instruct the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay. Most people don't even know about it. We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. Some of them are so bad we don't even trust the countries to hold them because we don't want them coming back, so we're going to send them out to Guantanamo. This will double our capacity immediately, right? And that's a tough place to get out of. Today's signings bring us one step closer to eradicating the scourge of migrant crime in our communities once and for all. And it was just it's just an unforced error that we even have to be doing this. Now we need Congress to provide full funding for the complete and total restoration of our sovereign borders, as well as financial support to remove record numbers of illegal aliens.
So you can anticipate that the mainstream media is absolutely going to freak out. This is not what they want to hear. It shouldn't be a surprise. This is what he's talked about. And gosh darn it, we just had to listen to Whoopi Goldberg say, well, of course, nobody wants the criminals. To be exact, I think it's like 87% of Americans do not want the criminals here. I kind of wonder about those who say, yeah, bring them on. I mean, you really want them? You want criminals? I'll tell you, these numbers are really quite startling. I took a look here. As of July 21st, 2024, ICE reported that there were nearly 650,000 non-citizens with criminal convictions or pending charges on the docket. I mean, this is bad. And you've got nearly 15,000 with such serious offenses as homicide. We're talking murder, sexual assault, around 20,000 individuals. Guys, like, this should not be that contentious an issue. And yet it is. Oh, you better believe it is. In fact, when I went to find these numbers, I went to ChatGPT because it was just faster. I'm like, I can poke around ICE's website, but I know I read it in an ICE report. And so I didn't have the report handy. I went to find it, and so I kept asking. So I was asking for a very specific question. How many of these illegal migrants in the country are deemed to be criminals or have criminal records? And guess what I got back? The vast majority of immigrants in the U.S., including both legal and undocumented migrants, are not. It's highlighted. They wrote not criminals in highlighted, bolded letters. Multiple studies and government data have shown that immigrants, regardless of their legal status, commit crimes at lower rates than native-born Americans. Key findings, and then they cite some stuff from Cato. They cite the federal prison population. Of course, they have these convictions and then they go free. So apparently they never actually make it to the prison itself. That may be why those records are kind of slim. But what was just shocking to me is how it was so important to tell me they are not criminals. And I'm like, yeah. Can you just answer the question? And then I got the report that I was looking for, 650,000. All right, so if you're Laken Riley's family, it doesn't matter if it's 1 or 650,000, you've lost your daughter to an illegal criminal. We have a crisis in our nation where we are struggling with inflation, we are struggling with healthcare, we're struggling with overcrowded schools. How do we provide the resources to the world? How do we welcome in? What are the numbers? I mean, there's massive estimates. It's 11 to 20 million. You take a guess of people that have been pouring in. How do we accommodate them while still making sure that we're accommodating ourselves, especially when they're not actually registered into the system and therefore aren't paying taxes and therefore aren't part of the mainstream economy? We have to provide all the benefits? I don't think so. I really don't think so. And so, as Donald Trump said, look, this may be tough, but this is the reality now. So if you're here and you're here illegally, the White House has a message for you. ICE has a message for you. You may just be going to GITMO. Here's Caroline Levitt. She got just torn up to shreds by the mainstream media for this. I'm going to tell you why in just a moment. It's so insane that people are freaking out because this didn't used to be this way. But here's Caroline Levitt, your new press secretary of the United States of America.
500 arrests ICE has made so far since President Trump came back into office. Can you just tell us the numbers? How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws and therefore they are criminals as far as this administration goes. I know the last administration didn't see it that way, so it's a big culture shift in our nation to view someone who breaks our immigration laws as a criminal, but that's exactly what they are.
You made one of the worst first. They all have a criminal record?
And welcome to the Regan.
If they broke our nation's laws, yes, they are criminal, yes.
It needed to be said. All right, so you broke the law because you're here illegally, which would be certainly a problem. All right, and by the way, this didn't used to be such an issue. I mean, just go back a few years to a pre-Trump political environment. I can think of one Barack Obama who was doing a lot. I mean, look at this. He was sending them back. ABC News, Obama has deported more people than any other president. Gosh, what do you know? Or how about this one? U.S. deportations of immigrants reached record high in 2013 under Barack Obama. Okay, so he had no problem deporting people, yet nobody reacted the way they're reacting to Donald Trump. What do you think that's about? I mean, that's TDS once again. But here's Obama saying, you know what? You can't be here illegally. Plain and simple. Enough said.
If you're a criminal, you'll be deported. If you plan to enter the U.S. illegally, your chances of getting caught and sent back just went up. The actions I'm taking are not only lawful, they're the kinds of actions taken by every single Republican president and every single Democratic president for the past half century. And to those members of Congress who question my authority to make our immigration system work better, or question the wisdom of me acting where Congress has failed, I have one answer. Pass a bill.
All right, so there's nothing there that is preventing Donald Trump from sending these prisoners, criminals, to a federal prison. I mean, I guess you could get on a plane and go back to Colombia or go back to Mexico, but constitutionally, he has total jurisdiction here. I mean, I know Letitia would like to think otherwise, but let me assure you, even ChatGPT agrees with that one. He's got total jurisdiction because we have this thing called the Constitution. If there's one power that the federal government has, it is power over its borders. It's why Texas was running into problems, guys. All right, here's Hillary Clinton. She actually used to understand that there was a difference between being here legally or illegally back in the day, all the way back in 2003.
We've got to do several things, and I am, adamantly against illegal immigrants. I made this exception basically on humanitarian grounds because of the individual stories, but certainly we've got to do more at our borders. And people have...
Yes, she said, I am adamantly, she wants you to know, against illegal immigration. And yet you have these people over there on The View, these women that want to politicize this in a way that is just not healthy. I mean, we'll go back to Barack Obama, okay? He told you the lay of the land. So, Sonny, I get that, you live a different lifestyle and you live in your doorman building in New York City with your security downstairs, and you're not up against the same threats as maybe a small family living on the border in Texas. But let me tell you, this is not wrong what he's doing. Not wrong at all. And there are actually even humanitarian reasons for one to be considering turning these people away because you don't want to send false signals, thereby putting their children potentially at risk. What do you think? A family's trying to send their child here and then the child gets put into the hands of traffickers? I'm sorry, but listen, there is something called the law of unintended consequences. We can't do it.
But 87% support deporting criminal undocumented migrants.
Yes, I don't know anybody in the world. Yeah, I don't know anybody in the world who wants to keep the criminals. I don't know anybody.
That's where we should be focused.
Can I say something? Because, we keep on talking about criminals and immigrants being criminals. And I just want people to understand what the facts are and the stats are, is that undocumented immigrants are much less likely to have committed crimes than American citizens. American citizens commit more crimes than anyone who is undocumented. I also want to make the point that an undocumented immigrant is not a criminal because he or she is undocumented. That is a civil offense. So to call people illegal is, in and of itself, I think, xenophobic and racist.
And incorrect.
I do. And incorrect.
I mean, like, you see how crazy this is getting? I guess ChatGPT got to her too. It is racist to call someone an illegal that's here illegally. I mean, wow. Like, you know, this is what they do. They like tie you in knots. Like, suddenly words have different meanings. Like, you're here legally or you're not legally here. I mean, you're illegal. All right, which puts you in violation of the law, which means they can get rid of you. They can send you to Guantanamo Bay. Mademoiselle, I know you want me to read that out. Thank you for your generosity with your super chat. But I'm not going to say that on air. I am going to call attention to your funny message. Yes, I'm not a fan of Whoopi Goldberg either. I'm laughing at it, though. You definitely got my attention.